Yeah. Oh, today's been rough.
I am now live.
Texas in the building.
What's up, Texas? Give me 1 second. I'm about to get started. About to get started. Alright. So, alright. Here we go. So, this video is dedicated to the people that are maybe curious about what goes into a good custom playbook. Because I'm going to give you guys my opinion. Um, Take it, don't take it, customize it, take some of it, don't take none of it. All your choice. So, of course, the first thing is if you don't know, home screen, you come over to create and share and you go to custom playbooks. So, my number one thing for creating a custom playbook, this is one of my favorite parts about the game. Um, while I currently do not coach, this is my little scapegoat, I'll call it that. The number one thing into creating a customizable playbook for you is one, you have to identify your playstyle. So, um, for example, if you are a person that likes to run the ball, you want to make sure you have plays that are geared toward you running the ball and you setting up your pass plays running the ball. So if you're going to run the ball, you need to be able to make sure that you have pass plays that's going to come off of those set run plays. All right, that is the first thing that you have to do if you want to be a good playbook. You can take, like I said, take this with a grain of salt, do what you want. Um, what I do as well, that's like I said, that's the first thing. The second thing, if you are creating a playbook to play Dynasty, my second thing I would recommend is you need to know your dynasty rules. Some dynasties have it to where it's a 5 play cooldown. Some have it to where it's a certain play can't be called out of a certain formation a certain amount of times. Why do I say this? This is going to dictate maybe even the size of your playbook, and more importantly, is going to dictate how you become a better play caller for the game. Okay, so like I said, first thing is your play style. Second, your dynasty rules, cooldown versus play limit, right? And then the third thing is you have to know your team strength. If you have a quarterback that is not very mobile, you picking as an example Air Forces as the base probably isn't a good idea because they're not going. One, they're not going to be fast. Two, they're not going to have the correct abilities. Um, so that's the other thing is you have to be able to play. You have to create your playbook to fit your offense. If you have a quarterback that can throw the ball and that's mobile, you're able to have some more play action bootlegs or some plays that some long shots where you're able to extend the play and get chunk yards. If your quarterback isn't that, you might gonna have to do kind of a traditional West Coast where you're playing an intermediate game. So, you know, you consider as an example, Michigan. In real life, Michigan could not throw the ball. They had to settle for intermediate. If your guy doesn't have a high throw power, you can't be trying to throw seam routes or post routes 40 yards down the field. It's going to become a pick because he doesn't have the ability to do what you're trying to do. All right. So again, first thing, play style. Do you want to play fast or you want to try to hold the clock? You want to run the ball? You want to be a balanced attack? Second, you got to know your dynasty rules. If you don't know your dynasty rules, please do that before you create your playbook. The only thing that's going to make you do is go back later and then change the playbook because how you set up your playbook isn't beneficial to that team. And then I said third is knowing your strengths as the team. If you got a good running back, try to make sure that you have plays that fit for him. If you don't, pass the ball and do what you want. All right. So first thing I always do is, in my opinion, instead of choosing,
Don't hate you putting me on some tips rolling on the floor laughing.
that's
I
what.
need to redo mine.
Yes, that's like I said. That's really the, and I got some more tips that's gonna come along, but I'm gonna get to the basics. So let's say we've done that. We know we're going to do a bunch of no huddle. This is our first step. We're going to run a no huddle offense. What I would suggest you do is don't pick any of the other formation of the schools. Pick air raid. Marquise, why would you pick air raid? I would give you two options: pick air raid or run and shoot. I say that because for myself, I like picking these two playbooks, because it's the least amount of plays where I have to go and delete. So, for example, this has 259 plays. That means I'm not wasting my time having to go in and delete a whole bunch of formations where I already know I'm not going to use. Okay, so the air raid, and I wish they would have it, saved as the non-whatchamacallits, but whatever. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Pick air raid or where is it at? Air raid or run and shoot because it has the least amount of plays. Alright. So for this example, we're going to create an air raid or a spread offense. As you see, this has all the shotgun formations, no single back. So if I want to delete these, it's going to be pretty quick for me to do that. Okay. So my suggestion is if you're going to create an offense around the idea of running no huddle, what I would suggest is you have plays that you don't have a bunch of formations. Marquise, why do you say that? Well, if you're running no huddle, the goal is to have as many people to go as fast as possible. If you have a bunch of formations and you're going no huddle and you're trying to go in between them, it's going to take you longer to be able to pick the next play. So if you're going to run a no huddle offense, I would say you want to try your best to have between 5 to maybe 12 formations. Okay, so it's just going to make your life completely easy. So for right now, I'm just going to delete all of these. Delete. We're going to essentially start from ground zero. And if you have any questions while I'm doing this, then of course feel free to ask. Well, so yes. And then another tip while doing this is, while you're creating, you have to be mindful that if you're playing Dynasty, you're going to have to play away games. Why does that matter? You're not going to be able to make a bunch of hot routes if you go play at Tennessee, you go play at Ohio State, you go play at Alabama. So you want to make sure that when you're picking the plays, that you are very mindful that you're not going to be able to use this play to set up a whole bunch of hot routes because you like the way the break is on this. Okay, so you want to be. I mean, as a play caller, you have to be very mindful of that as well. So when I make my playbooks, I try to make sure that in each formation there are default plays that I'm able to run to where I don't have to make an audible coming out of it. All right. And then the other thing is, if you're going to, for this concept that we're doing of this no huddle, personnel. Personnel is huge because inside of when you're going no huddle, you can only audible to other formations that have the same personnel. All right. So, for example, what is this? I believe this is an 11 personnel. 11 personnel means you have one running back and you have one tight end. So for this, as you're looking at this inside zone, this looks like I'm almost positive that this tray open offset is an 11 personnel, which means I have one running back, and then if you look to the right of the right tackle, the first person that is blocking, doing a pass play, the one that is red that's running the corner route, that is a tight end. I'm almost positive that this is an 11 personnel. So what I would do is make sure that I have multiple 11 personnel formations to be able to audible to. So if this is one, you would go over to all plays and you kind of have to eyeball it. So like for instance, if I was running the huddle, this I would not be able to go from that formation to this because it's two different personnels. So then one way that you know most 11 personnel is your trios. Cluster, you will be able to audible in this because this is an 11 personnel. Okay. So we go back to shotgun. We're going to work on everything 11 personnel. This example, we want Y trips. So let's say I like this formation of Y trips. I like Y trips. In these formations, if I have a mobile quarterback, I always say have a read option. One, it counts as is one, the blocking is a little better instead of using the inside zone if you're trying to limit the amount. You always want to have a 4 verticals play. I try not to pick plays that I'm able to audible. For example, where most formations have something, they have a play called slants. I don't ever pick slants because if I want slants, I can audible to a slant. Well, Marquise, what's a route that you cannot hot route? Great question. The receiver on the left side in this play is running essentially it's a form of a dig route, which is an in route. When you try to audible, you're not going to be able to create this route. So I would be like, okay, I can do something with this. I know that this route will be able to help me beat man. This play will help me beat cover 3 because the receiver number 2, which is on the right side running that looks like an out route, that is essentially a flood concept. And a flood concept, that's why it's called flood concept, meaning you're overloading one side. So this play will help me beat cover 2. Well, it'll help me beat cover 3. It'll help me beat man. And then I'm able to do anything I want to with the 2 blue routes. So that'd be a play that I would pick. This motion PA deep over, I would pick this play because one, that's an automatic motion, and two, you can't make these 2 routes. So the route that is in red, you can't make, and the crosser, you can't make. No matter how much you try, you can't make it. That would be another route that I would do. A lot of times out of the empty, this stick route by the tight end, that is not a route that you create.
Texas in the building. Damn, coach, putting me on some ticks, rolling on the floor laughing. I might need to redo mine.
Yes. So again, these motions, I would pick those plays because it's not something that I would be able to actually create. All right, and then one formation that is always pretty good is trips tight end. This is another example. This formation is so good. Now, the only play that I would pick with slants is this one because you cannot. That slant route that the tight end is running was really a corner route. The corner route beats man really good. So if you're on the goal, this is a great goal line play, in my opinion. I would pick this because I can do whatever I want on the left side of the field. Okay, so that's a small little recap. Play style. I want to go fast. I want to do speed option. Don't want to have a spread. You need to identify that. 2, your rules, because that's going to change based off. What's up, Mario? What's up, Mario? 2, you need to know your dynasty rules. If it's a cool play, or if it's a play count. And then the third one was knowing your personnel. If you have a quarterback that can't throw the ball deep, don't put a playbook in. Don't put plays in where it is geared toward throwing the ball down the field excessively. You can have a couple of plays, but I would highly suggest you not. If you have a mobile quarterback, would definitely recommend try to find plays where you have a direct QB zone. Give them the ball, make them an option. Yeah, so trips tight end is always one of a favorite. I would also be very mindful of picking formations that people would see online that they can identify. As an example, where's F twins over? Unless you just absolutely A B C D E F, unless you just absolutely love it, everybody has seen this formation. So every reason why I don't use it, or I don't use it as much, is because everyone sees F twins over, automatically expects the jet sweep, the jet sweep. They either know it's the jet sweep. People don't. It's either jet sweep, the QB power, or they come back and they try to run the screen. Okay, so I try my best to avoid formations that everybody has seen from a Regs perspective. Okay. If you're a person that wants to go 5 out, I would suggest finding a formation. And where is it at? Not this one. This one. Empty quads trio. This is putting you on game. This is a formation that I use. If you have a formation that you want to go 5 wide in, or go, essentially don't have any running backs, try to find a formation that has the QB blast if you have a quarterback that is mobile. Why do you say that, Marquise? Most of the time, if someone sees 5 wide, they're probably going into a weak box, meaning they probably run in 3-2-6. They probably run in some type of dime formation, which means you're going to have only 3 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers. Exactly. The 3, exactly, Jermaine. So with the empty, and when people see this, they're more than likely going to put more DBs on the field. Means you have a light box. So this is a good third and 2, 4th and 2, 2nd and 1. This is a good play if you know you're not going to fumble, because you're going to get a light box. It makes him an option for an easy pickup on the first down. On the goal line, this is a great play, because if they come out in a man play, or they sending the pressure, because it's so spread out, you know exactly what they're running, and you get pretty good blocking on this play. So if you're going to run an empty formation, I would say always try your best to see if you can have one run play using your quarterback, if your quarterback has the ability. The QB draw usually sucks. Going to be honest. QB draw plays usually suck. Okay? So, like I said, another example, duo. Everybody's seen duo. The most common plays out of duo, the jet touch pass, and then the RPO. Now you can do some cool things with it. The speed option is a nice off balance to it. But like I said, if you're gonna run these, just know it's a great chance that whoever you're playing, especially if you're playing a competitive league, they have seen it and they have something prepared to be able to stop it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this. I'm actually going to go to one of my playbooks. And I have deleted, I have added, always change my playbook simply because of how much I play the game. So, an old playbook.
Everyone knows what I'm doing when I go duo.
Exactly, and it makes it harder, Mario. So I'm going to use this Big Ten football playbook. I want to say this was the first one I used. Was this the first one I used when I was Wisconsin? I think so. So my first year in BMG, I knew I was coming in with Wisconsin, and Wisconsin traditionally in real life was known for kind of a pro style offense, single back. They've had some great running backs over the years: Melvin Gordon, Jonathan Taylor, James White. They've had some really good running backs over the years. So what I did was I said, okay, I have a feeling I'm going to have a good offensive line. I'm going to have a good running back. This is before I checked the team. And so I made sure I had some I formations. I made sure I had some shotgun because I still like to throw the ball. Okay. Now this is the next important part about creating your own playbook. The most important thing is your audibles. Okay. You have to set your audibles, and two, making sure that you have plays that can play off of each other, and you have at least one run play and some pass plays. I always try my best to do 2 and 2 to give myself options. But for example, if I decide to go no huddle, this right here is all right. So pistol wide trips. This is an 11 personnel, right? So if I go no huddle, let's say I ran smash and I get some good yards and say, okay, I like the formation that the defense is in. I'm going to keep running. Because I have multiple 11 personnel plays, I can audible, meaning I press triangle, go no huddle, they'll line up in this as I'm picking. Then I'm able to go to bunch now. All right. And so my bunch options, if I needed to run, if they decide to audible, I got a run play I can do. I got 4 verts that does pretty well. 4 verticals out of bunch does well out of cover 2. You can throw the wheel route to the right side on the receiver. You can throw the crosser, and that's usually no, that's not the tight end. You can throw the crosser across the field, meaning going from right to left, or if spot and go, I can change the red route. This is what on triangle on your screen. I can change, and that's circle on the game. I can audible him onto a streak, and now I have a flood concept. So if they in cover 3, the streak is going to take out the quarter third, and I can throw the corner. If the user is playing back, let's say they have their zones to like 20, I can hit an automatic flat route to that guy that's going out to the backfield. If they're playing man, I got the C route on the opposite side does a good job of beating it, as well as the corner as well. If they're going to blitz, I can keep the same play and put the tight end on a drag and put the route that is red and put them on a whip route. So now I got essentially 4 routes that can beat man coverage, all from that one play. So from that one play, I'm able to make 1 or 2 adjustments and can beat any coverage that the defense decides to give me. All right, let's say I still want to go no huddle, but now I want to run the ball. I can go to, because it's the same personnel, I can go to single back tight doubles. I got 2 run plays and I got 2 pass plays, and so forth and so forth. So the point that I'm getting at is, when I made this playbook, I wanted it to be very balanced. I felt comfortable going no huddle because I had multiple formations with the same personnel, as well as running the ball because I had my weak, had some wildcat, and I had the strong plus the out formation. But even while I was in that 11 personnel, I can run stretch, I can run dive, I can run the slot corner, I can run halfback power, I can run the dive, right? And these were all really good default plays to where if I'm on the road, I'm able to pick this play without having to make a change and feel comfortable that I'll be able to make a positive play. All right. Now, in my opinion, if I would prefer to make a smaller playbook. How many plays I have in this? I have over 468 plays. realistically, in the college game, you probably have maybe 5 possessions. You're not running 468 different plays. All right. So that's why I would say I would actually make it smaller. I would probably cut down some of these formations. And one thing that I always do is I'll go and play 5 to 7 games with no game plan and see what formations that I tend to go to. And I would go delete the other ones, maybe sprinkle a different formation in there just to see if I want to use it. But you gotta always change your playbooks. In my opinion, you want to change your playbooks. If you got a big playbook, see what formations that you're not using, take them out. Only thing it does is slowing you down. I have, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 single back formations. In game, it takes me a while, in which I noticed it took me a while to get through these formations because when I was in single back, it took me a while to get through the amount of single back formations. If I was looking for trips, it took me a while to get the trips because I had to go through 14 of them, right? So that's another thing to be mindful of. Let's pick. I'll pick this one for now. A lot more, as you can see, this is a lot more balance, right? A lot more balance. And we have 378, so we cut it down 100. All right. So if you're a person that's going to run the ball, would highly suggest you find some flex bone. I wouldn't use, the only reason I would not use flex bone close is because this is 3 running backs and 2 receivers. Now, what you could do is do flex bone tight. So you can put the QB power, the toss, and the counter, the speed up, the load option. And let's say you're on the goal line, because it is 3 running backs and 2 tight ends, you could actually come out in goal line normal. And if you come out in goal line normal, it's a great chance the defensive coordinator is going to come out in goal line as well. And then because it's the same personnel, you would actually be able to audible to flex bone tight and then hit them with a surprise and run the where is it at? And run the load option. Sets it up beautifully. If you're noticing that the person you're playing, when you come out of certain formation, they go to this formation, call a different formation and then audible to that one. But in order to do that, you got to make sure that you have audibles that you feel comfortable with. You're not going to be able to do it all the time, but it definitely helps to catch them off guard. Okay? So like for flex bone tight, this will also, if you decided to run it, you would be able to go from goal line. Where's goal line at? Just so that you guys can see it. You would be able to go from goal line offense to Maryland Eye. All right, I got this in my playbook. Why? Because the personnel matches up. You get some pretty good runs out of here. Or you can go from goal line to an old school classic, which is where's the wishbone? Which is the wishbone. And you can run the power option. These are great second and 2. You're on the goal line. Everybody usually run commits. These are great ways to combat people picking stuff over you. So you come out in goal line, because the personnel matches, you can go to power option. And now you're able to get out on the edge and make the toss and get you 6. Right? You can come out in single back ace and go single back ace. Oh no, here's a better example. Deuce. Where's deuce close? Deuce close. People see deuce close, and for the most part, you're gonna get a stretch play, or you're gonna get the bench. Where's the bench play at? Maybe even halfback wham. Used to be really good on Madden, but yeah, you can come out in this formation, and then go all the press square, go to shotgun, and another good passing, a little nice passing scheme is a slot offset. You can have the post as one, anchor out beats man. You got a flood concept on the left. You got a man beat on the right with the corner route. And if you got a receiver fast enough, the post route does get open too and cover two, right? So I say all this to say that the most important thing when making your playbook is you got to know what style of offense that you want to do, know the rules of the dynasty that you're going to be a part of, make sure you're able to have good default plays so that when you're on the road, you don't have to worry about this play working because you have to go put out a corner route when you're not going to be able to because of the crowd noise. And then the other part is when you're doing your audibles, make sure I always suggest having at least one run play that is able to go left or right and have your pass plays. Or you can do the opposite if you're a runner. You can have 3 run plays, one go left, one go right. Maybe you can have a power, a toss, and a stretch. And then you have a play action. Make sure you have multiple formations that have the same personnel. So if you go no huddle, you're able to do that. Alright, so we're going to go back all the way back down to air raid. If you're going to run no huddle, I would highly suggest you have the least amount of formations because you want to pick your plays fast as possible when you're running that type of offense. This is really perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 shotguns, 2 split, 2 what's it called? 2 single backs, 2 pistols. This is perfect. This is a great example. This right here is 10 personnel. This is 1 running back and 4 tight ends. 1 running back, no tight ends, and 4 receivers. You essentially have, and if you're able to pick good audibles, you essentially have your entire playbook at disposal while running no huddle, which is great. Myself, I would take slants off. Again, I say this with my whole chest. Do not have an audible as slants. You are able to make slants as a hot route. Don't waste your play count on the play slants. I'd rather you have 2 run plays than have slants as an actual audible, right? See, you got the single back slants. I would have taken slants out, and I would have put maybe bench. Bench is a good one because as a default route, let's say I'm on the road, this bench play would be might be cover 4 depending if they hard flat. It definitely beats cover 3. It beats man. You can hit the out route right there. If you're at home, you're able to change the out route to a whip route. Whip route destroys man. The corner routes, if they're running cover 1, you can go left with the throw, you can go right with the throw, and you can put the outside receiver that's on a curve on a slant route. You got nothing but man beaters. If it's cover 3, what you could do, and especially if you're at home, you can make that on the left side of the field, on the play bench, make him a streak, put one of your receivers on the right side on the drag, and now you have a flood concept going that way. So you want to be able to make sure that you're able to pick apart with one play at least 2 to 3 different coverages. Probably would have took out RPO peak slant. I would have put the comebacks. Why? Comebacks are really good against man. The post route would beat cover 2, especially if they don't have a deep blue in the middle. It's a high-low read, so if it's a user, when I say high-low, meaning you put the defense in a position to where they either have to guard something deep and play short with the user, or they have to play short and you can throw the ball over the top. All right, this also can be a cover comeback. PA comebacks can be a cover 3 beater. If you have a quarterback able to do, you run the play action, slide your protection to the right, and you're going to be able to roll out to the right. If they're in cover 3 without a pass commit, you're going to be able to throw that post route over the deep third, because the deep third is going to sink and give it a step, and you can be able to throw that post route once he gets past the middle third guy. This will also beat cover 4. If they play in cover 4 hard flats, you can throw the comeback because the fourth at that particular distance will keep playing back, and you throw the comeback. Right? So it's multiple ways, but yes, if you're going to run no huddle, I would say if you're in a no huddle offense, pick maybe 1 or 2 personnel. The most common one is 11 personnel, and then maybe a 1 receiver, 4 wide receivers. Have a couple of formations, and let's see when we go into it. You don't need a bunch of plays. This one has, where's the count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You don't need more than 20 plays in one formation set. You don't. You really don't. This could have been cut down to probably like 17, because you can take out slants. I would have probably took out halfback slam as well. Yeah, halfback slam and dive, you don't. It's essentially the same thing. You could take that out. If it says RNS next to it, it means it's an option route on the field. So this one, I'm gonna show you a easier one. It's probably out of this one. These are option routes. So the two routes that look like drags. If it is zone, they're still going to cross, but they're going to sit, right? So that's essentially it's a mesh concept. But on this particular play, those drag, if it's a man coverage, they're going to keep running. If it's zone, they're going to cross, but then they're going to sit. So essentially, going to be like 2 miniature curl routes on each side. So if they usually go one way, you can throw the ball the other way. All right. So if it's NRS, it's an option route, and the option routes is essentially just means based on the coverage of man and or zone, depends on the route that the receiver is going to run. So you also need to be mindful if that's something that you're interested in. You need to be able to understand and that if it is cover 2, no matter if it's open or not, I mean if it's zone, they're going to run this route regardless. If it's man, they're going to run this route regardless, even if it's going to be open. So then you as the play caller have to know that if it is zone, they're going to run a deep dig instead of the post, even though the post is clearly open if they was to run it. All right. So as of right now, we're gonna go into practice. Does anybody have any questions? I know we got a couple of people here. Does anybody have any questions about what they would like me to cover? My opinion of the best bases. I like. Where's Tennessee? Because Tennessee has a bunch of wide. Yes, so Tennessee has a bunch of wide. Now, wide is a really good. If you have to really, in my opinion, to know how to run it. You got to make sure that you're able to run the ball, but you also need speed at receiver. In Tennessee's playbook, and I'm pretty sure if you're a person that has looked up any type of YouTube, you'll see a bunch of Tennessees of how to run it effectively and stuff. Wide can be very difficult because strictly because of the spacing of the receivers. So, like for example, this bunch quad is open. The farthest receiver on the right is going to be on the outside hash. There's no
Yeah, bro, at Tennessee is a football-ass dude, so he definitely understands the game.
Yeah, you can't. There's certain routes that's just not going to work. For instance, you can run a curl, but you can't put that outside guy on a comeback because he doesn't have any space between the number and out of bounds to be able to throw it. So then you have to you really have to be able to understand the spacing for certain routes as well. Alright, so now I'm going to use one of my own playbooks. We're going to go to practice. And one thing I always suggest, as soon as you make it, save it, come to practice. Use it. So now I'm going to show you how you can effectively call plays faster. Let me make sure I got that. Alright, cool. As soon as you make the playbook, always come to practice just to see what it looks like. You want to try to run some games or even come to practice to be able to do it. So for myself, I call my plays going to formations and doing it this way. You do not have to do it that way. That is just how I do it. Another way to do it is,
Do you ever call plays by personnel?
I was just getting there, Jermaine, is you can come to personnel and it will only show you the formations of that personnel. This is another way to actually call plays where it makes it easier for you to be able to go in between out of plays. I do not use, I wouldn't say it's called like coach suggestions. I do not use coach suggestions. I would highly recommend either you do it by the formation screen, or do it by the personnel. And if you learn the personnel, it's actually going to help you with, even from like just watching the game by itself, you're going to be able to know. So like we said, 11 personnel, it goes running back first. The first number in 11 is the running back. The second number is the tight ends, right? So for the most part, I'm pretty sure everyone's formation, you're going to have the most formations of 11 personnel. So if you go no huddle, it's only going to show you these formations. If I was to come out in trips tight end and I wanted to go to a different formation, it's only going to show me the other 6 formations because that's the personnel that matches. If you'd come out in 10 personnel, which is just the one running back and no tight ends, these are my only options to be able to audible to, which is why I recommend you at least have between 1 to 3 of the personnel groupings that you want. So then it gives you options if you go no huddle. All right, 3 running backs, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, 2 tight ends. This is 21 personnel. Got 2 running backs and 1 tight end. As you guys can see, I have multiple options if I wanted to go no huddle. So if I come out in 5 wide, I would essentially have to only be able to run these plays if I were to go no huddle. Alright, same thing with this one. If I came out in this, now you can make small adjustments. Another thing I would also recommend you guys using, and you have to kind of do it in game, is when you flick the right stick, you have different packages. So for example, halfback slot, instead of it being 0, which is, I'm going to say JoJo Trader, is Damian, what's his last name? Damian Martinez. Alright, so if you do this now becomes 10 personnel, and then when I audible, I would be able to use other 10 personnel formations. Alright, I'm going to say it again. While I'm in the formation 5 wide receiver, and when I flick my right stick, now I have a running back on the field. So now the personnel will change to 10 personnel. Now I have options to be able to audible into these other formations. All right, I hope that makes sense. Same thing right here. This is now 11 personnel. Okay. If now this is 11, and this right now it's 11 personnel, I would be able to audible to other 11 personnel formations if I were to make the change. All right, and then some of it is, instead of them, they just line up in different places. So right now this is 2 tight ends, 3 receivers. If you got a receiver that you know beats is a good intermediate or middle, I always say put him in the slot. So right now this is where's the default? This is the default. Now I got the running back on here. This is now an 11 personnel formation because of the change that I did. This is now an 11 personnel formation. So now if I do it, I'm able to use the rest of my playbook and go to other 11 personnel formations. So these are the two ways I would highly recommend you guys call plays, is by either using the formation screen or doing it from the personnel. I'm going to be honest with you, I've never done it from the personnel, but since I've been trying to, do better, I'm going to start calling my form because it's going to help me call my plays quicker, which gives me longer time to be able to make an adjustment. All right, now since I'm in here, I'm going to. So Mario, for that question, Mario, if I'm going to pass the ball, I would prefer me having my receivers out there. Now, if I have a very talented running back that is able to catch the ball or has a speed, yes, I will put the running back there, because if someone on defense, hold on, let me redo this. I'm going to call a random play. For defensive purposes, I would do that because if someone makes a coach adjustment, so to do coach adjustments, you would press the right stick in. When people are playing man, usually what they'll do is they'll probably do it by two things, by overall or by speed, right? So this is the con and a way to beat it if you know someone is doing that. Alright, so we're going to leave it as by overall for right now. So when they have it set to by overall, their receiver, their DBs are matched up of their best receivers are my best receiver, their second, and so forth. Here's the issue with that. Is this a pass play? Let me call a pass play. This is a pass play. When people start making those changes, it can really mess up. Hold on, let me just run this play. It's better out of shotgun for you to be able to see it, but it really messes up their receivers by motion. So right now this looks like cover 4, but they're treating it as this man right now. Alright, so usually when someone is following them, it is for the most part man, but if they have that for overall, they will usually follow them. And then boom, you just beat man. Alright. So we're gonna pick another random play, and to give a better example, we're just gonna run cover 4. Nice and to the point. Let's get this play out. Fall. Come back. So in cover 4, the two safeties that you see on the hashes are the back. Their job is they have quarters. So cover 4 is essentially quarters. Think of $1, 25 cents, a quarter of the field. All right, that's where the name comes from. In cover 4 quarters, the outside linebackers will more than likely have flats. Number 8 will have a hook zone, also the yellow zone. All right. So if you see that, and this is match. Boom. Now you're at 2nd and 3, 2nd and 5, whatever the thing is. Right? Now it's showing it because it's also cam. And see, so this is the example that I was giving you earlier. When someone has changed their cornerback matchups to speed or overall or by height, when you put them in motion, you see what it does to their defense? That's what causes the whatchamacallit to make those strange adjustments. And now we get that wide open because they have theirs on that. See? Safety switch, everything rotates over when people start doing that. It messes them up, doesn't mess you up. So that's, as a defensive coordinator, that's also one thing to be mindful of. All right. So I'm going to give you one more suggestion that I'm going to more likely end the video. Um, let's say, for instance, you didn't want to use formation or personnel to call plays. All right. If you didn't want to do either of those two things and you want to use coach suggestions, nothing wrong with it. This is just something extra that you should do in your playbook to help you get to the plays that you want to better. So you're gonna come back, you're gonna come to your offensive playbook, you're gonna pick, I'm just gonna pick this random one for now. So let's say, for instance, and you see I had duo in this one, I have F twins in this one. Let's say, for instance, I really love trips. I really loved this one. Let's say this play, because I'm pretty sure if you watch me, you see me run this play. If you want to use coach suggestions, you want to rate your play. All right. So what it's going to do is, in certain down and distances, if you're using coach suggestion, this play will pop up. Now, this is a little longer, yes, but if you're going to use coach suggestion and you're creating your own playbook, I would highly recommend you do this. So if second and medium, you felt that this is one of your favorite plays to run in second and medium, you're going to raise the star level of it. If this is a play that you want to pop up when you're in your 2-minute offense, raise it. If you want to run this on the red zone fringe, do it. Let's say, for instance, go for two. We know in the second half when you're playing NCAA, there's times instead of picking the field goal pop up, it goes to a random. It goes to a random play. If you know what that play is, let's say you want to run mesh, rate the play. Fourth and short. If you're going to do goal line, I would also recommend you do fourth and short, third and short, and second and short, because the down and distance is pretty much the same. So then you would rate it for go for two. So when you score a touchdown, the band is playing, and your screen comes up, this play will pop up as one of the options. So again, as a play caller, you want to do your best to give the defense as little bit of time as possible to make a decision. So the quicker you're able to go as an offensive coordinator, the less time they are able to try to figure out what they want to do with themselves. They're not going to be able to make a change as quickly, because then as soon as you pick the play, they got, I want to say it's between 10 to 15 seconds to call the play anyway. So if you go this little extra mile and say, for these particular scenarios, I would also recommend you maybe pick 5 plays on first down, because the play clock is quicker on first down, especially after
Texas in the
kickoff.
building. Yeah, everyone knows what I'm doing when I go duo. Yeah, the
Yeah.
guy at Tennessee is a football-ass dude, so he definitely understands the game. Do you ever call plays by personnel?
So yeah, first down is another. First down is another one I would say. Because your play clock it feels like it's like 7, probably like 10 seconds. You're not gonna be able to make a bunch of hot routes. That'd be another suggestion I would make is, for first down, if you know you want to run this play, put it down. You just want to get out the huddle quick to then get into your pre-play. Boom. Put it down. So as soon as a kickoff and you got the ball after you take the touchback, these plays will pop up. Boom, you got there. So instead of having to work with a play clock of 13 seconds, you got an extra 5 seconds to be able to make a change to this play, or get you to one of your different audibles and get into this. All right. So yes, these are the tips that I would suggest for every player to have when they're playing NCAA. Take some of it, take all of it, don't take none of it. So quick, like I said, most important thing, know your play style. You're gonna run the ball, you're gonna pass the ball, you're gonna um, go no huddle, you're gonna try to hold on to the ball. Cool. Next, you gotta know your rules. Hold on, guys, 1 second. My bad, y'all. But like I said, a quick recap. Make sure you know your dynasty rules. If you're gonna have one that is a play cooldown versus having a play count limit. If it's a play call cooldown, and you're the person that's want to run the ball, pick different formation that has the same run concept. Meaning, having multiple plays that have a stretch. If you want to run stretch back to back, have multiple plays on different formation that has inside zone. Multiple plays if you want to run the read option, or if you want to throw the ball down the field, make sure you have multiple formations that have 4 vertical. All right. The other thing is know your personnel. If your quarterback can't throw the ball deep, he got a 90 throw power. Don't throw the ball. Don't have a whole bunch of plays that are designed to throw the ball 30 yards down the field or a bunch of corner routes, because all you're asking is danger for it to get picked off. Right. The other one is making sure in your audibles have at least 1 run play, 3 pass, or have 2 pass plays. Maybe one can be a play action, the other one be a different one. Um, and then when you're calling your plays, the 2 screens I will use is do formations or personnel. In your custom playbook, make sure you don't want to just have one formation that has 1 receiver and 4 wide receivers. Make sure you have multiple formations with the same personnel. So if you go no huddle, it gives you more options. And as an offensive coordinator, that's all you want to do is give yourself as many options as possible to be able to make great plays. All right. So I plan to do. I think the next video I decide to do, we're actually going to create an air raid playbook. And then I'm going to take that playbook and play one of the dynasties and see how well we do with it. And then I'll give you just the inside mind of like what goes into me wanting to take a formation out, take it or not take it out. So yeah, hopefully this has been helpful for you guys that's been tuning in. I truly appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great one. Peace.